Hello and welcome back to my channel. For those of you that are new here, my name is Christina. So this month, the month of December, I am participating in what is called VLOGMAS, and I am failing miserably. I will be honest with you on that. I've already missed 2 days. We're only to the 8th of the month. I have made the content, I just have not gotten it edited and put up, but I will catch back up at some point. So those videos are there, so at some point there may be 2 videos that are posted in a day. So I'm still going to continue to call this VLOGMAS, even though I'm not necessarily following the rules of it. So the VLOGMAS videos are just that, they are vlogs. You may get a little bit of DIYs, you may get a little bit of an insight into my garden. So today I was going to talk about a topic I've been wanting to broach for a while on this channel, and that is homesteading or farming when you have a disability. So there are all different kinds of disabilities that people may have that limit what they can do or what they would like to do on their farm or homestead, and it can range from mental illness, depression, down to physical disabilities and so forth. So I'm going to tell you about my disability. So I have a condition called Raynaud's phenomenon. Some people may not view it so much as a disability as just a hindrance, but for me it really has disabled me from being able to do many of the things that I enjoy doing outside. For those of you that are not familiar with Raynaud's or Raynaud's phenomenon, the short version of it is when you have vibrations or extreme temperatures, primarily of cold, fingers, toes, nose, chin, and nipples can become affected. They can turn white instantly. You lose feeling in them. In more severe cases, you can get ulcers, and you can actually end up with amputations. So mine started out pretty mild with no real known reason as to why I developed it, which is why mine is the Raynaud's phenomenon. I do not have an underlying condition. I did have frostbite, second degree frostbite on my left foot back in 2006 or 7, but I did not develop the actual symptoms of the Raynaud's until 2011. So in 2011, I had moved from Wisconsin to southern Missouri, and that first winter down here I noticed that my toes would get really cold really easily, and they'd like get white and then stay white for a really long time. And I just figured I needed to step up my game of keeping on socks and shoes, and which is actually really hard for me because I am a barefooter, hardcore. I believe in barefooting. And so it was really frustrating that here I was living in this milder weathered area from Wisconsin, and now I was having this issue. I didn't know anything about Raynaud's. And then winter passed and things seemed to get better, and then it happened again the next winter. And Fred. Look, how can I resist this, buddy? They just want to follow me everywhere. So after several years of this, I went to a doctor and asked what it might be, and they told me that it was poor circulation and to go on a diet, basically, which is not what you want to hear. So the next time it got really bad, I just kept pushing through, and I tried warming my feet up. I put them in front of a space heater. I put on thicker socks, and then I noticed that I had little black spots forming on the underside of my toes, which upon further examination I realized they were ulcers. And so I got really scared and went to urgent care, and they sent me to the emergency room. So while at the emergency room, I have a doctor that has come in, and he's looking at it and is asking me all the questions of, you know, was I out in the cold for a really long time? You know, they're thinking it's frostbite. And there was a nurse that was walking by, and he poked his head in and he said, "My mom has Raynaud's. That looks like Raynaud's." And as soon as he said that, the doctor, it was like you could just see it clicked. And so he, as they do, he printed out the information about Raynaud's, gave me all the warnings, and sent me on my way. And it took several weeks for those ulcers to fully heal, but then I noticed that I had nerve damage. So I would have tingling, I have numb spots, and every year it just gets worse. So one of the things that I was warned about was that the vibrations from power tools, you know, when you're driving, all of that can bring on an episode and cause that constriction, which then is what makes the fingertips or the toes turn white. And I know I'm not giving a very good medical explanation here, but this is my interpretation of it. So what that meant for me going forward was I love shoes. I mean, I just absolutely love nice shoes. I had tons and tons of beautiful boots that came up to the knees, calf boots, you know, the ankle boots. I had some that came up to thigh length, little ballerina slippers. What that part of the, as my Raynaud's got worse, it got to the point where any shoe that was even slightly constricted or that wasn't breathable, I could no longer wear because I would have a reaction. And so a flare-up. And I would end up with the, you know, the digit turning. It was mainly my middle toe and the second one over, and they would turn completely white, and I would end up with ulcers on them. So I tried going to one size larger, and that didn't help because I needed the thicker socks as well to create the breathing atmosphere. So little by little, I've gotten rid of all of my really nice shoes, my boots, even certain socks I can't wear anymore. I can't wear tights that go over the feet, anything that's constricting. The last couple of years, I've noticed that my nose is now affected, my chin is affected, my fingers really bad. It's to the point that if I go to the grocery store and I'm getting something out of the freezer section, either I have to wear gloves or I have to grab it by the corner or have somebody else lifting it out for me. If I'm running a sander, you know, same thing. Last year is when it just exploded. It was the worst yet. I was not able to do a fall garden last year. It actually got to the point where even during the summertime, being outside with that really cold water, I would have a Raynaud's flare-up with my hands or my feet. So I couldn't walk around in the cold dirt, you know, stamping around in the puddles in the yard because my feet and my fingers would instantly feel frostbitten and frozen. So I didn't put in a fall garden because I didn't want to burden everyone in my house to have to take care of it. So the very end of last year, it was sometime between Thanksgiving and Christmas, I had the worst flare-up that I had had to date. And it was to the point where I could not walk. If you've ever had frostbite, it is not fun. And so I had a combination of numbness, pain, nerve, and then that sensation of like feeling coming back in something, but it's not quite there. So it feels like little bee stings in every single joint, you know, around around my toes, and it was excruciating. You know, I'd stand in front of a space heater. I had socks on and slippers and boots, and I was afraid to go outside. I was afraid to go anywhere because if my feet got wet. You know, going and standing at the Christmas parade, you know, just being on that concrete. And even though I was wearing really good winter boots that were lined and I had thick socks on, you know, I got chilled enough from that. You know, it's just very, very debilitating. And, you know, that feeling of being, you know, you're stuck. I couldn't go anywhere. It was just awful. By this time I had a different doctor, made an appointment, went in there, and showed him the ulcers that I had developed, and he said, it's time for you to start taking medication. So he put me on a blood pressure medication, which basically, you know, opens everything up so that you know, you don't have that little constriction. And he gave me topical nitroglycerin, which I would put on for 12 hours and then leave free for 12 hours on my fingers and toes. And that seemed to help. It didn't get rid of the symptoms completely, but it seemed to help. But now here I am on blood pressure medication, still feeling kind of like I'm stuck in the house, like I can't really go anywhere, I can't really do the activities that I like to do. So basically this meant that the way I gardened was going to be forever changed. So that was the first thing that I had to come to terms with, was it wasn't just that I was affected in, you know, one season, and that I would, you know, be limited in that way. It was now all seasons. I couldn't be in cold or damp dirt. I couldn't walk barefoot in puddles in my yard. Everything was affected. And I knew I wasn't going to give up gardening. I mean, that's just, as I talked about in my last video, my goal is to be self-sufficient. So that was not an option. I just had to figure out a way to work with it and, you know, just make it all work. So this year we did not do a full fall garden again, but we did our spring and summer and a little bit of fall gardening, and everybody has pitched in. Every single person in the household has been wonderful. So it's not just my garden or my responsibility. Everyone has stepped in to make it possible so that we can have this. This winter with the chickens, my son has made it clear that he will be the one going out and collecting the eggs and doing their water and the medication, which I would love to find an alternative. I really don't want to be on it, but between covering up, changing the seasons a little bit, eventually we will have a hoop house or an indoor, you know, a greenhouse, but it's been a challenge. It has been a challenge, but we're learning to make it work, because I know that there's lots of you out there that struggle with varying degrees of disabilities or restrictions that, you know, make it impossible or make it difficult for you to, you know, do that homestead or that garden or, you know, raising animals. As for some people, it just unfortunately is not possible for you alone with your disability. For me, this is how we're making it work. Please don't forget to subscribe, give me a thumbs up, hit that bell notification, and down in the comments, tell me about what restrictions or disabilities you all have with you know, in your own lives and how you're overcoming it. And if there's anybody that sees this that also has Raynaud's phenomenon, let me know how life is for you, because as of yet I have not met another person that suffers from it, and I'm just curious how you make things work. So thank you for watching, and if you like this video, please consider subscribing to my channel. As always, don't forget to give me a thumbs up and hit that bell notification so you know when my next videos are out. I will get better about posting regularly, and I will get caught back up on my Vlogmas videos. Bye for now. Thanks.